Drifting away from those in pursuit and getting through. He's done it again. The boy wonder. Seems as though there's no defence, no team in Europe that can stop him right now. Every game a starring role, nearly every game a goal.
What a goal, what a player.
Pretty special, right? Except that commentary wasn't about Cristiano Ronaldo. It's about Jude Bellingham. Here's something else. If we chart Ronaldo's goals for Real Madrid in his first season joining the club, the 2009-2010 season, over his first 10 La Liga games, it goes something like this. 7 goals in your first 10? That's good, especially off the back of a Ballon d'Or winning year. Now here's Bellingham's. That's one of the greatest strikers of all time who has scored 867 career goals for club and country, who in this 10-game sample is getting outscored by a 20-year-old Englishman, who's a midfielder by the way. This isn't normal. I mean, we've seen players go on bursts of incredible form and then fade away back into mediocrity, only to be brought up again in a "The Streets Will Never Forget" compilation. But scoring like this, bringing a commentator to moments like this,
Belly goal, Bellingham!
And having a literal Bernabeu copying your celebration, for a city who has been blessed with some of the greatest footballing talent the world has ever seen, they may just have their next Galactico. In a world of over 130,000 professional footballers, being the best is, well, as you can imagine, pretty damn hard. But someone has to be it. And for the past 2 decades, Messi and Ronaldo have wrestled over this title, with the Ballon d'Or notoriously being used to differentiate the greatest in the world at the current moment. And so by that logic, it will be Lionel Messi, after claiming his 8th Ballon d'Or. Except he's not. Greatest of all time? Well, yes, for sure, but greatest footballer on the planet right now? I heavily doubt that. In fact, with Messi at Inter Miami and his counterpart Ronaldo at Al Nassr, I'm confident saying we will never see Messi or Ronaldo win another Ballon d'Or, and their era is officially over. But when one era ends, another must start. Many assume it will be Mbappe versus Haaland. It just makes the most sense. You have the French poster boy already winning 1 World Cup and scoring a hat-trick at another World Cup final, versus a 6'5" Norwegian goal machine fresh off a treble-winning season where he not only won the Golden Boot but broke the all-time season scoring record in the Premier League, all in his first season in English football. But it's fair to say that neither have been on top form this season. Bellingham, on the other hand, has. He currently ranks top in the La Liga Golden Boot race this season. In fact, this season, he is in the 99th percentile for goals scored, goal involvements, goals away from home, expected goals, and non-penalty XG. But that is not all to his game. He also ranks in the 90th percentile or above for shots taken, shots on target, shot conversion rate, shot accuracy, pass completion rate, key passes, dribbles, successful dribbles, and ground duels won, proving what a well-rounded threat he has been this season. But just how good has Bellingham been? Well, let's compare him to Messi. Here is Lionel Messi's goal contribution stats for each of his seasons as a professional footballer thus far. Messi averaged 55 games a season over his career, so if we extrapolate Bellingham's goals and assists from this season, assuming he plays the 55 games, he will get 65 goals and assists in what is his 5th season of professional football. Meaning if you compare Bellingham's 5th season and Messi's 5th season, the Englishman is on track to exceed Messi's goal and assist tally despite playing as a box-to-box midfielder. So Jude Bellingham, at the young age of 20, is already playing at an elite level. For the purpose of the rest of this video, let's entertain the idea of Bellingham sustaining and building upon his current form for the rest of his footballing career, giving himself the theoretical possibility of ending his career as the undisputed GOAT of this game. Although a long shot, is it possible? Well, let's find out. In my eyes, to become the greatest footballer of all time, you have to excel in these 3 categories. Firstly, individual honours, your Ballon d'Ors, Player of the Seasons, and Golden Boots for example. Then your team honours, how many trophies have you won over your career and importantly, what kind of trophies, because I'm sure we can all agree that a World Cup holds much more weight than an FA Cup. And thirdly, do you leave a cultural impact that transcends this sport? Meaning, do you go from becoming a footballer to a worldwide superstar? Cristiano Ronaldo is the perfect example of this. His Su celebration has become so recognizable worldwide that you have athletes in other sports copying it. Now that is having an impact. For Jude Bellingham to have any sort of chance of surpassing Messi and Ronaldo as the greatest footballer of all time, he has to match them and surpass them in these categories. So let's see how he can do it. Starting with individual awards. Simply put, the Ballon d'Or is important. I do believe its importance is inflated, but there is no doubt that if you want to be the greatest footballer of all time, you need to be considered the best footballer for at least one individual season. Now, matching Messi's 8 Ballon d'Ors will be hard, if not damn impossible, but even winning at least 3 will put Bellingham in a fantastic position. But that is easier said than done. Since the Ballon d'Or's inception in 1956, there has only ever been 4 central midfielders to win the prize, with Luka Modric being the latest midfielder to do so in 2018. Simply put, the Ballon d'Or is quite literally dominated by forwards. So for Bellingham to win multiple Ballon d'Ors, he will have to do what no other central midfielder has ever done. But the good news is, despite it still being early in the season, the Englishman is currently the favourite to win the 2024 Ballon d'Or, meaning if he can sustain his form this season and add a couple titles along the way, he is well in with a great chance of claiming this year's trophy. Speaking of trophies, let's move on to team honours. Bellingham currently only has one major team trophy to his name, the German Cup he won at Dortmund. Messi at age 20 already had 5 trophies, including 2 La Liga titles and the Champions League, so Jude definitely has some ground to make up here. Fortunately, he happens to play for Real Madrid, who tend to have a knack for winning things. Since Real Madrid's inception in 1903, they have won a staggering 122 titles, which averages out to just over 1 trophy a season. What is even more mind-blowing is if we tighten the sample size to just take into account the modern era of 2000 onwards, over this 23-year period, Madrid have won 35 trophies, averaging out to 1.52 trophies per season. This means that if we can take the bold assumption of Bellingham staying at Real Madrid for at least the next 4 years of his career, he would be on track to lift at least 6 trophies there, with a high chance of winning the Champions League and La Liga. I mean, it wouldn't exactly match up to Messi's 18 trophies and 2 Ballon d'Ors by the age of 24, but it would put Bellingham in good stead for accumulating the immense trophy cabinet needed to have a shot at becoming the GOAT. But here is where it gets tricky. You see, to be recognised as the greatest footballer of all time, it is not enough to just excel at club level. You need to win a trophy for your country, and unfortunately for Bellingham, England have only ever won 1 major trophy, and it came in 1966, before colour TV even existed. I'd love to crunch the numbers on whether we can expect England to win the Euros or World Cup in Bellingham's career span, but when a career 88.2% penalty conversion rate striker does this, it breaks any mathematical model you can think of. But what if England really were to bring it home, and Bellingham be the driving force behind the achievement? Surely that would drastically elevate his claim for all-time football superiority. However, beyond all the trophies and performances, will Bellingham transcend football and his own status? Ronaldo has showcased how possible this is. He is the most followed person on Instagram, one of the most recognizable faces worldwide with a cult following, and has practically trademarked a celebration that will forever be synonymous with his name and brand. Bellingham can do this. I mean, his outstretched arm celebration has already been recognized by fans around the world, with trends of it taking over TikTok and Instagram. This is a brilliant sign that he is starting to build his brand and name beyond football, but the key is to sustain this season after season. Because we all remember iconic celebrations like Michu's hand celebration and Bafétembi Gomez's Panther celebration, but we are football fans. You ask a non-football fan and they probably would not even recognise those players, let alone their celebration, but everyone knows Ronaldo's Sue. The promising news is in all three categories I've mentioned, Bellingham is making tangible steps in achieving these goals. Yes, the road looks long and damn near impossible, but out of all the currently active footballers under the age of 23, I urge you to find me someone who has a better chance than Bellingham of reaching true GOAT status. Jude is a genuine talent. The biggest problem? The men he is chasing are outright tough to beat. I'm going to give you two amazing players that have all the achievements necessary to become the greatest footballer of all time, but when it comes to GOAT debates, they never get a solid mention. Thierry Henry and Ronaldo. Now let's chart their goals for every season of their career, starting with Thierry Henry. As to be expected, a slow start, but then once joining Arsenal in 1999, his averages shot up and stayed that way until age inevitably gets the better of you. Thierry ends his 20-year career averaging 20.55 goals per season. Very, very respectable. Let's move on to R9. He had a blistering start to his career, but after a few lengthy injuries, he just couldn't sustain his unbelievable scoring records. Nevertheless, both very commendable careers in their own right. But do you want to know why these two players will rightfully never be named the GOAT when it comes to football? Because here are Messi's and Ronaldo's goal stats per season. Do you see what I mean? Yes, in a one-off season, Henry can go toe-to-toe with Messi and Ronaldo, maybe even over a 3 to 5 year span, but over a career, there's just no way. Maybe R9 was for a brief spell the greatest player on this planet, but with his wretched injury luck, his lack of durability meant he couldn't have the sustained success Messi and Ronaldo have. It gets even more apparent when you compare their trophy wins. This isn't just footballing success, it is footballing dominance. And with Messi winning the coveted World Cup trophy, he cemented himself as the greatest the world has ever seen. But here is the twist. You see, if this chance right here falls to Kylian Mbappe, France probably go on to win back-to-back World Cups, leaving the GOAT debate still very much in question. Because when football is contested by 11 players aside, the odds of one player being the sole factor for the outcome of an individual game, it's slim to none. Bellingham has more than enough quality to become the greatest player in the world one day. We are just scratching the surface of his potential. But let's not forget that even great individuals need a helping hand along the way. Messi thanks Emi Martinez for his heroic save to win Argentina the World Cup. I say he should be thanking someone else instead.